What's going on, Not So Pro Nation? We're back. We were just live yesterday, but of course, huge news hit. Okay, like we said it was going to do. Huge news hit. We're back at it. We're doing a live show just for you guys. Okay, we just got out of work. We just got out of school. All that good jazz. And we're here now for obvious reasons, you guys. Look at the title of the video. Aaron Rodgers finally made up his mind. He probably had it made up the whole time, honestly. But, he finally announced it. So what? Whatever. Drama queen. I don't want to get into that. We are going to get into that. Yeah, I said it. Come on now. Yeah. And then something. Yes, Pete. Let's bring the music in. Something that I've been longing for so long as a Niners fan. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was fake news. I thought I was dreaming. I thought I was hallucinating. I thought I had food poisoning. I was in the hospital in a coma, something. But you know what? Russell Wilson, he's gone. He's out of the NFC West. He's in the AFC. He's with the Denver Broncos, which I think that's an awesome move by both teams, believe it or not. I think it's a great move by both teams. But I finally don't get to see Russell Wilson 2 times out of the season. Now, ideally, as a Niners fan, you do want to see Russell Wilson 2 times out of the season because that only means that you're going to the Super Bowl. But yeah, let's have a moment of silence so we can celebrate. Thank you.
No.
Yes, yeah. You were silent for a little while.
No. Yeah, I was swallowing my water. I will never be silent. I want to say I've already put out a tweet. Thank you to Russell Wilson. It was awesome having you for 10 years. It's been a great 10 years. He won us a championship right there, But, I mean, it is what it is. I think we got a good haul from him. We could have probably gotten a little bit more, in my opinion. But we're releasing Bobby Wagner as well, if you haven't heard yet. It just broke about 5 minutes ago. I think we're doing it mostly for cap purposes. But, yeah, it's been a wild day to be a Seahawks fan. I was walking around on campus today getting asked, what happened? And everybody's, trying to talk to me and stuff. And I'm just trying here, get ready for the podcast, say my piece, and let's get to it. Russell Wilson is now a Bronco.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Let's read what Pete just said right now. He said, that's what the Packers should have done with Rodgers. And we're going to get into that, okay? Mm-hmm. I want to finish off with the Packers because I feel like I don't know. I have so many mixed emotions about Aaron Rodgers now, but you cannot deny his game. He's a talented individual. There's no one else like him in the league right now. But we're going to get into that later on. Drama queen, Aaron Rodgers. That's what we're talking about. But for now, look at this guy. Where's he at? He's right here. Look at this guy. Look how sick he looks in that uniform. And yes, the Photoshop was done by yours truly. You're very welcome for that. You might want to take a picture, save it as your wallpaper, whatever you all want to do. It's your life. You do what you want. But Wilson is with the Broncos now. Now, what did the Seattle Seahawks get for Russell Wilson?
Well, let me tell you guys. So we shipped off Russell Wilson in the 4th rounder. I don't know why we shipped off a 4th rounder, even though we're shipping Russell Wilson to the Broncos. That's my opinion. But we get Noah Fant, who's a tight end for the Broncos, Mr. Drew Lock, who I'm not a big fan of, Shelby Harris, who is decent. He used to be with us, I believe. And now he's back, and he's going to run stuff with Puna Ford for us. So I believe what Reed told me a little while ago is we only have 21 guys signed to our roster after all these moves and stuff like that and free agents. So that's pretty wild hearing that.
For next year.
For next year. But we also got 2 first-round picks, the number 9 in the upcoming draft and a first next year, a second-rounder this year who is number 40 and a second-rounder next year, and a 5th-rounder for this year. And that's the entirety of the package. So out of trading one player and a draft pick, we got 5 draft picks and 3 players out of Russell Wilson. Now, they're not the best players, and maybe some of those picks
Whoa,
are pretty good.
whoa.
But I mean, I think we got a good end of the deal. Of course, they're getting Russell Wilson, so he's the solidified guy to make a change there in Denver. But right now, we're on the search for the next franchise QB, the next franchise linebacker, the next franchise defensive end, whatever you want to talk about, what we're going to get in this draft. But yeah, our future right now is in the air, and that's hard to say as a Seattle Seahawks fan.
Dude, look at your new team. Look at them. That's a stacked team right there. What do you mean they're not the greatest players? What are you talking about? Okay, Drew Lock, but if you listen to Denver, Denver fans are saying Drew Lock still might be the guy. They've been saying that ever since they drafted him. No, he's not the guy. He's completely, whatever. He's done. He's a second stringer, third stringer. He's out there in the bench. Noah Fant, that is an awesome. I mean, he's not Russell Wilson level, but that is an awesome addition to y'all's team because I know you guys are struggling for tight ends for a while. I thought you guys found your tight end when Hollister was, up on the rise, and you guys released or traded him or released him. Can't quite remember at this moment. But he's 24 years old, and that guy's a freak of nature. Now, he could definitely complement DK Metcalf's game, and now Lockett's out there. I don't know how Lockett's going to do without Russell Wilson being his quarterback. And then you have Shelby Harris, right? Shelby Harris, which you guys had before. Now he's back with Seattle. And from my knowledge, from what I know, he was a great locker room leader, great locker room presence. And I feel like that's very important for the Seattle Seahawks right now.
Oh, yeah, especially with us just letting Bobby Wagner know that we're going to release him. We do need another presence in that locker room. We had Russell Wilson on the offensive side shipped out. We also had Bobby Wagner being released on the defensive side. So right now, we don't have anybody in the locker room who's probably taken the reins yet because this barely happened today. But it's good to have Shelby Harris in there. He's going to do great for us on the field and off the field. I know that for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's just a lot to take in right now. We have so many guys that we need to sign or make deals with, and it's getting crazy.
Now, you are a Seattle Seahawks fan for, as long as I've known you. I want to ask you a question. I want you to be completely honest with me. Reed, I'm throwing him a bone. Don't give us that look, okay? I'm throwing him a bone. I want you to answer me honestly. Now, they're not hiding it. Seattle Seahawks, they're rebuilding. How do you feel about them rebuilding with the oldest head coach in the league, Pete Carroll?
Well, Pete Carroll's a special dude. He's got energy up the wazoo, for lack of a better word. But, I mean, with the oldest coach in the NFL going into a rebuild, they don't call it a rebuild. Him and John Schneider don't call it a rebuild, but I think it is a rebuild. We don't have a quarterback of the future. We definitely don't know who our running back of the future is going to be. We don't know who our defensive leader is going to be besides Shelby Harris. It sounds like a rebuild to me. But going in it with Pete Carroll, I mean, this guy's not going to croak anytime soon. If you've seen him on the field, that guy's massive muscles in his cheeks are probably the strongest in the world with all the gum he chews. But, I'm kind of scared and I'm kind of happy. We'll see what happens. I think maybe there's a lot of talk that Pete Carroll should have been the guy that goes out. And, I can side with some of those people, and I can also side with the people that say this trade is probably going to be good for our future. But right now I'm stuck in the middle. I'm a believer of both. I think Pete Carroll has done some wrong. I think Russell Wilson has done some wrong to our team. And that's hard to say. But after this trade, you kind of think about it just like how Reed thought about it when he thought that Rodgers might play his last game in the Packers uniform. But now it's my turn. And we didn't think it was going to happen yesterday when we were on live. Nobody thought about this at all, pretty much. But here we are. I got to soak it in less than probably 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours. So here I am, spilling my truth. But
You know what? they're darn good about hiding that. Russell Wilson just a couple of weeks ago was like, "No, my home is here in Seattle. I love it here. My family's here. Go Hawks." That's what he always says. Go Hawks. Okay. And then Pete Carroll comes on the board and he's like, "No, we are not shopping our QB at this time." Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not listening to offers, but he did say that they're not shopping the QB at this time. This just goes to tell you that whatever they say, like on social media or on a big platform, you never know what the idea behind the curtain is or who the mastermind, the puppeteer, the guy out there. So this is amazing. I think this is a great move by both teams. The Seattle Seahawks, they had the ninth overall pick of the draft. That's huge. That is huge. They got a top 10 pick in the draft. Now, what do you do? Some people say this is a horrible draft class. I don't think it's that bad. QB wise, not the best QB draft class, but you got some good players out there. But as a Seattle Seahawk, you have now you got Drew Lock, and then you have was it Smith? It keeps slipping in my mind. Smith, correct?
We don't even have him. He's not signed.
He's not even signed. So you get Drew Lock. So what do? Do you try to go for the best QB in the draft, which is, some people argue about it being Pickett, or do you use some of that draft capital to trade to try to get, a decent QB? I wouldn't mind seeing, I wouldn't mind, but maybe Jimmy G, goes to Seattle. Not for a ninth overall pick. Don't get me wrong. He's worth a second. The 40th pick that they received from the Denver Broncos, I could definitely see something like that happening. What do you do? Do you waste your ninth overall pick? Do you go for a QB? Do you stick with Drew Lock for a year and wait for the next draft class? What are your thoughts here?
Well, to kind of say about that 41st pick, that is our pick. We got the 64th from Denver. So that one, that's a little different. I don't think we should trade for Jimmy G. I think that's a little weird.
Come on, man.
I don't think that they would do that. He's probably the best quarterback on the board right now, and I like this little thing on this side. That's funny. I hadn't seen that yet. I have my notes pulled up. But as much as everybody is thinking that we should draft a quarterback, I agree right here with Juan Antonio Bravo. I do not think we get a quarterback in this draft. I think right now, with the amount of cap space that we have, we can shop for another QB, maybe through a trade. It can be anybody, because we could even sign Aaron Rodgers if he had a $50 million contract with us. That's how much cap we almost have. But I don't think we draft a quarterback, and I don't know if we're going to be able to trade for a quarterback this year. We might have to stick it out with Geno if we re-sign him, or because I don't think Drew Lock is going to be our starter, and I don't think that Pete Carroll and John Schneider think that either.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And Juan, where you been, brother? We missed you, man. It's been a while since we've seen you. Appreciate you being here. Join us live. Give us your thoughts. If you guys are out there watching us, what are your thoughts about Russell Wilson going to the Denver Broncos? Do you guys agree with it? Do you think the Denver Broncos are going to get their money's worth? I for one, I'm super scared that everything that the Seattle Seahawks got, they're going to use that to try to acquire Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's a talk right now. He has to clear all his stuff, all his lawful stuff before that. But I'm not putting it past Pete Carroll and John Schneider to think about that, because everybody in the league is thinking about it. Mm-hmm. We ship off Russell Wilson, we get all these picks. Now let's go for Deshaun Watson. Let's go for a Tua. Let's go for someone who's better than Drew Lock, which is pretty much a lot of people in the NFL right now.
Yeah. You remember the Colts are shopping Wentz. He could be a second round pick worthy of that trade. Oh, yeah. I don't know. You guys, I feel like you guys have to shop. I could see you guys holding out the year with Drew Lock, or maybe signing Geno Smith to a vet minimum year deal. But good for the Seattle Seahawks. They basically got their draft capital back from after they traded for Jamal Adams. So they got that stuff back. Russell Wilson, he had an incredible career there in Seattle. I'm really excited to see what he does in Denver. Real quick take, in that division, you got Russell Wilson in Denver. You have Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs. You have Justin Herbert in the Chargers, and you got Derek Carr in the Raiders. Now he goes from the hardest division to what looks like the second hardest division. That is awesome. And it's going to be so fun to watch. Now, out of a bold prediction, I'm saying it. You guys are hearing it first from AJ Alvarado, Not So Pro Football Talk. Not only are the Denver Broncos going to be the best in that division, they're going to be the best in the AFC. Boom, right there. That's my take. That's my hot take. I want you guys to I want to hear y'all's. Tell me how crazy I am.
Go ahead, Reed.
This sounds like what I said when I was talking about Baker Mayfield going 48-8.
But this ain't Baker Mayfield. This is Russell Wilson.
I think the Broncos are going to be contenders. Russell Wilson is a type of quarterback that doesn't matter what happens during the game. He's going to keep you in the game. There's always going to be a chance for you to win the game. This does put the Broncos over the top. As far as them being a top team in the AFC, I do not know. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC. The AFC is looking very stacked right now. We'll see what happens, see how the season shakes out. But they have a lot of they still need to add a lot of players, in my mind, to be that number one team in the AFC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pete says he disagrees.
I half agree with Pete. I say not the best in the AFC, and I don't think they'll be the best in that division either.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes, they're going to shop for more people. They just signed Gordon back as a receiver, Eric Gordon. So I believe that's his name. I can't remember. But Gordon is his last name. They just re-signed him again. So they're going to have weapons again. I think that they should address their defensive side, and Kansas City will most likely beat Russell Wilson at least once. So I don't think that Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos will win the division, and I don't think they'll be the best in the AFC for sure. They need a little time to function. They do have some weapons over there, but they do need to work on their defense as well. And Russell Wilson, to be successful, he needs a good running back, good wide receiver core. He's got that there in Denver, but he also needs a good defense to help him out because he can't do it all anymore, just like he did when we won this championship.
Okay, you can stop showing that off now. Okay, but Russell Wilson, Jared Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, that's something to watch. Now, before we move on, I'm going to mention one more thing, okay? Because we're about to move into Aaron Rodgers, the diva of the NFL. I love saying that because I like looking at Reed's reaction. So Von Miller posted yesterday, which we showed live, that he wants to go home, basically. Do y'all think that he had a little bit of knowledge of what they wanted to do?
I don't think he had 100% knowledge. I think that he had a sliver of knowledge saying like, hey, like you've been with us for so long. You know, we went to the Super Bowl with you. You were a Super Bowl MVP at one point. Well, actually, they went to 2 Super Bowls with him. Sorry about that. But I think they told him, I think the front office there is really close with him, even when he did just win another Super Bowl with the Rams. But heard Von Miller tease that going back to the Broncos. Yeah, Pete, we just addressed that. But anyways, I don't know. You don't know. Like, we didn't even know Russell Wilson's going to get traded.
True that.
How do we know what Von Miller knows?
Yeah, and it's just so weird that it happened right after Aaron Rodgers announced that he's going to stay with the Packers. Broncos are like, oh, crap. Plan B. Hey, Russell, you want to come over? We got some good stuff for you. So I think their first pick was Aaron Rodgers, obviously, and then it was Russell Wilson after that. At least it worked out for them. They're both good QBs. It's a win-win situation for them. They're going to give out a lot, but they have a lot to give. So good for the Broncos. Excited to see what they got. You guys ready to move on to their first choice? I know Reed is. Reed's excited. I'm excited too. All right. You know, we can't move on unless we have a nice picture to go along with it. There you go. Back with the pack. We got Aaron Rodgers.
Those eyebrows.
Staying. What do you mean those eyebrows?
Matt LaFleur's eyebrows.
They're so thin. He has a giant forehead. I just noticed that. He has a huge forehead.
Probably distorted the picture.
It's like it's kind of, yeah, the thing's huge. Anyways, Aaron Rodgers, he is staying with the Packers. the details on this contract has not yet been leaked. It is thought of Aaron Rodgers being the highest paid NFL player in history. Reed, think that's going to happen?
So from what Aaron Rodgers tweeted out, he said that the 4-year, $200 million deal is not correct. That was not the one he has been offered. So I have no idea where those numbers came from or why Ian Rappaport decided, hey, I'm going to tweet this out and say this is confirmed. But from what Aaron Rodgers said, he has just decided that he is going to go back with the Packers. He's already under contract for this year, but obviously they need to restructure or extend him because of the cap hit. Aaron Rodgers knows that. The Packers know that. There needs to be something done. There needs to be something done about his current contract. So we'll see what happens. From what he told Pat McAfee, or what Pat McAfee source said,
I like
you're
that.
supposed to do it with me, AJ. I set you up
a little bit. You lagged. I couldn't see you do the drop.
Shoot.
I was ready,
Okay.
but see, you're lagging right now.
Okay, sorry.
No, sorry.
Okay. From what Pat McAfee said, that the deal that Aaron Rodgers wants to do with the Packers is going to be a cap-friendly deal. So what I can imagine from that, it's not going to be probably a 4-year deal. Even though I would love to lock down Aaron Rodgers for 4 years, I don't know if that's going to be the case. But I would imagine it's going to be a pretty low cap hit. Where it is going to be at, I have no clue. I don't know how little money he wants to take or he's willing to take. But, I mean, if he wants to be on a championship team and he wants to chase a ring, then I think taking a low cap hit and not asking for a $200 million deal is the way to go.
Okay. But, I did some detectives work. Like I said yesterday, just a little detectives work. Yeah, that's how I say things on this. And I saw a little thing that just recently at a wedding, him and what's her face?
Shailene Woodley or something?
Shailene Woodley reunited. Now, I'm like, okay, that's cool, but why? You know why? Because he's going to be getting that bank. Dude, he is so ready to get paid, and she is so ready to get paid. It's like, okay, he's not messing around anymore. He's going to be the highest paid NFL player in history. Let's do this again. Let's run him back. Okay, and I did have to crop this picture because I needed to be appropriate for this podcast. She needs to take better pictures. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I think he's going to be the highest paid player in NFL history. I think he is going to have something that is cap friendly for this year, so the Packers can figure something out. They did franchise tag Davante Adams. That is huge for them. That is huge for Aaron Rodgers. I think they complete each other, and that's going to make them a Super Bowl contending team. Doesn't matter of anything else. You just got to have a decent defense. Those two have a connection like no other in the NFL right now. So yeah, good for him. Good for Davante. He's I know they're trying to work out a long-term deal.
I don't think there has been no talks of the contract negotiations completely fell through. So I mean he has to now, but there hasn't been there has not been negotiations for a while.
That's just the last I saw. I saw that they got the franchise tag.
Yeah, they have the franchise tag.
Right. Yeah, they are in the franchise tag, and what Davante Adams wants, he wants a long-term contract, and they're in the talks of that. That's all I saw. Not saying that they're negotiating anything. They're not closing in on anything. There's just talks of it maybe getting done maybe next year or so.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. And I'm really curious to see how much they're going to pay Rodgers because he ain't going to be cheap, man.
I don't know. Maybe he wants to take a pay cut.
I'll be very surprised.
And whatever he decides to do, I'm completely fine with. I tweeted out when the $200 million deal came out that well-deserved, good for him. That's try to go for another ring. But if he wants to take a pay cut, I'm all for it. We're not in the best cap situation ever, so I would very much welcome a low deal.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying that he's not deserving of that much money. He deserves every single penny of that, maybe even more, because of what he does on the field. He is truly amazing, and what he could do out there is it's great. Um, Pete says Aaron Rodgers taking a pay cut? Question mark. Yeah, I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe too, because he's a diva, as I've been saying. But
Where does all this diva stuff come from?
because, dude, he's just like, oh,
Say,
look at
say
me, look at
something.
me. What?
Say things that he's been a diva about.
Oh, about holding out and saying that he's going to talk about his deal on the Pat McAfee show. And a week before, he was like, oh, I got a huge announcement, stuff like that. And he
He
comes
never
on,
said he had a huge announcement.
hey, it's what
He
he's
never said he had
leading
a huge
everyone. It's what
announcement, and
he's
he
leading
never held out.
everyone
He
to
told you he
believe.
was going to do it within the franchise tag period, and he did.
Okay, Reed. Okay. If you don't see that, then okay, that's fine.
You have just said lies, and I'm the wrong one here.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Reed. I'm just saying if that's what you see, then that's what you see. You shouldn't be taking offense to this. I mean, it's just what everyone's watching. We're all watching the same thing here.
I don't think we are.
Okay. All right. Let's move on because we don't got to get into this. Aaron Rodgers staying with the Pack. Now, how big is that for the Packers? I think that is their best chance of winning a Super Bowl. But what does that do for their future? I think that kind of plummets them to the future depending on how much he's going to be asking for, especially with Devontae Adams taking a franchise tag. Now, what they need to do to get back under the cap is still a lot.
There's still a lot, but there's a lot of things we can do. First thing off, this is Darius Smith. If we cut him, we were going to save $15 million. So that cuts it down to $30 million, and then extending Preston Smith, we can kick out like $10 million into future years. And then Jared Alexander, we can kick out like $7 million for him. Adrian Amos, we can kick out $4 or $5 million into the future. Randall Cobb has a $9 million cap hit. I don't see him staying on the Packers. We can cut him and save, what is the number for Randall Cobb? We can save $6 million there. There's a lot of things we can do to get underneath the cap and still re-sign some players.
Okay. Well, Pete over here is addressing me on what I think about all this stuff. I think every quarterback who is a top 5 quarterback ever in the NFL has to be a little bit of a diva, AJ. I know you haven't dealt with that because you didn't have a top 5 quarterback. So I'm going to defend Reed a little bit because I think Russell Wilson was also a diva here with the Seahawks. He publicly said that he wanted to leave, which kind of crippled our chances last year. He got injured, and now I'm pretty sure he was on the inside deal with trying to go to the Broncos because he said this year that was the only team that he wanted to go to, and well, it fell through. But with Rodgers, I think Reed sees a little bit more into what Rodgers talks about. I think they think the same a little bit as well. But yes, Rodgers can be a little bit of a diva. He asks for quite a bit of money. Everybody wants to be the highest paid in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. But I think what he's doing right now is pretty nice. I think he really does want to take a pay cut. So maybe it's some development on his part. But I will go back to what I said a couple weeks back. Rodgers needs to get his end of the deal done. He said he's going to bring a championship again, and he hasn't done it in a while. And he's getting paid the money to do it. So if he takes a pay cut and he finally gets them a ring, good for them. But I think that anybody who's a top player in their position is going to ask for a lot of money. So I would be very surprised if he takes a huge pay cut, but I don't think that's going to happen, and it's going to put y'all in a hole.
We'll wait and see what the deal is. I mean, we know for sure the Packers have offered him a humongous contract. And as far as right now, he has not signed that. He has not agreed to it. So there's something there.
Oh yeah, like I said, he's doing some development on his part. Old probably Aaron Rodgers before all this had happened, before this playoff exit that they had this past year, probably would have taken it before that. But after this, he wants to win a ring, and he knows that the Packers is his best bet. If he would have gone to the Broncos like Russell Wilson did, I don't think that's his best bet, and I don't think that's Russell Wilson's best bet to win a championship either. But I think he's doing some developing on his part, which is good. And I hope for y'all's sake and y'all's future, he takes a pay cut, because that's what's going to need to benefit the Packers and Rodgers both. That's my input, Pete. That's what I think. But, I'm in shock too. I lost my franchise quarterback today.
It happens, man. It happens. But yeah, a lot of intake. We're going to have a lot of news coming out pretty darn soon. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of QB talk, a lot of free agent talk, I should say. So free agents coming along as we get closer to the draft, which I cannot wait for. I honestly cannot wait for the USFL either. That starts April 16th. So looking forward to that because I miss football already. But guys, there's a lot to come. There's a lot to come, and there's a lot of details. You got to read the fine print, a lot of in between the lines. When you talk about, Rodgers staying with the Packers, that's actually huge for a lot of teams. With Russell Wilson leaving to Denver, that's huge because now the QB market is now getting set, and you can see what QBs are worth nowadays, like Watson, Wentz, Jimmy G. Now those trade values are either going higher, lower, or staying neutral, or maybe no teams are going to be interested in them anymore. So now we still got teams who are looking for a quarterback, like the Colts, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Seattle Seahawks now. See, it's a huge game changer. And there's still one more prime elemental QB out there. That's Deshaun. Now, what team wants to take the risk and take on Deshaun with all the outside drama? We don't know, but I'm more than sure we're going to find out this offseason, and maybe pretty darn soon. But just know that whatever happens, you guys are going to hear it here. We're going to give you our opinion, our not so pro thoughts. We cover it all, guys. We cover it all. It's breaking news like today. We knew we had to go live. Expect that for the rest of the offseason, even if it's just 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of us. I don't know. We might bring someone from the streets. I don't know. We'll find some way to get to you guys. But we appreciate every single one of y'all being here. I know it's such a short notice that we're going live today. But from now on, expect us to take care of big news. If big news like this drops, then we're going to cover it. Don't you worry about that, okay? I've listened to way too many podcasts. I disagree with a lot of podcasts. I agree with a few podcasts that are good, but there's so many different opinions out there. And you guys don't have to agree with us. Obviously, here we don't agree amongst each other, but that's what it's all about. Different point of views, different aspects. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. We're going to close it out here. A lot of great news today. NFL, you don't disappoint. They are the king of sports. I said it. Thank you all so much for being here. Until next time, you guys, see you later.